So we're going to open up the properties table. And what we're going to do is look for a zip code. So we're going to click on Find. And the zip that we want is 95610. Now, we do want to click in the zip code column, kind of on our first record. So it'll start searching there. And the current field is fine, and we want the whole entire field because we've keyed in the entire zip code. We had a portion of its the zip code instead of the whole thing, we'd say any part. But we have the entire zip. So we're going to click on Find Next. You're going to find several. We'll cancel out of here. Our next step is going to be to do a replacement. And what we're going to look for is 95660. And we are going to replace that with 95668. And again, we want to start at the top. So we're in the zip field, so we want current field. We've got entire numbers, so we want whole field. And we're going to click on Find Next. So it's got the first one highlighted. We're going to replace that one. And then it pops to the next one. We don't want to change that, so we're going to go to Find Next. That skips over to the third occurrence, and we're going to hit Replace. And we've got our next occurrence, which we're going to skip. Okay, we've got another occurrence that we are going to skip. And then for this next one, we're going to replace. Okay, so at this point, we're done, and we are going to cancel out of here and save our changes. So we'll close Properties, and we're going to go into our relationship window. And then we're going to add categories, employees, properties, and renters. And then let's close. So we have no relationships. Now, in my opinion, it is better to create the relationships before you have the data. That way, you don't have bad data in your tables. It's always a little dangerous to create a relationship after you've entered data, because if you miskeyed the field that you're connecting on, it won't do the connection. You're going to get an error. So my preference is always to do this before I key data, because I don't like database problems. Sometimes they're really hard to find and fix. So the relationships that we need are between category and properties, and it's going to be based on the category ID field. And you'll notice that category ID is the primary key in the category table. So this is going to be our one table, and we are going to drag it over to category ID for properties. And we have a one-to-many, just kind of double checking your fields. We'll turn on the integrity rules, and then we'll hit create. So no problem with that one. The next relationship is going to be based on employee ID on that field, and it's going to be between employees and renters. And you'll notice that employee ID is the primary key in the employee field. So this is going to be our one table, and renters employee ID is the many. So we're going to left drag from the one to the many, turn on our integrity rules, and hit create. Now, if you have an issue with this, you're going to want to check your employee IDs and make sure you entered those correctly. Okay? Because if there's any issues relating tables, it is however you've got that common field. In this case, it's a foreign key and a primary key. The data has to match, and the data types also have to match. So we've got, for our third relationship, it's going to be between the properties and renters. So let's kind of flip-flop these. And it's going to be based on property ID. So this is our one table, or our one table is properties, and our many is renters. So we'll kind of come over here and connect them. And then the last relationship is going to be between renters and payments. And I can see I don't have payments. So let me go ahead and add that. And we'll just move payments kind of over here. And this is going to be connected on renter ID, which is the primary key here. So this is our one table. We're just going to left drag that to renter ID and payments and turn on the integrity rules. Okay, so hopefully this all worked for you. We're going to hit save to save the changes we have made to the relationships, and then we're going to close it. So now that we've got these tables related, we are going to create a query that displays employees with health insurance. And they want everything in this case to come from the employees table. So you guys probably thought we were done with queries. We're going to go right into query design, and we're going to open up employees. And I do kind of like to resize these things just because I'm an information junkie and I like to see all of my fields. And I'm going to add employee ID and first name, and I'm just double clicking on these. Last name, health insurance. Okay, so I've got my fields. Now, they don't want employee ID to actually show when we run the query. So we're going to remove the check mark here. It's still part of the query, but when we run, it's not going to show. And they want us to extract the employees who have health benefits. So under health insurance, you can either put yes, true, or the number 1. Okay, if you put the number 1, it converts it to true. If you key in yes, it does the same thing as true. So we're going to run it. These are all of the people who have health insurance, and so we're going to save, and we're going to call it EMPS with health insurance query. And then we'll close this query. And they want another query. Design a query that displays all properties in the city of Citrus Heights. So let's go into create and query design. So properties and the category tables are what we need. And as far as fields go, what they want is property ID from properties. They want category from categories. And then they want address, city, state, and zip from properties. Address, city, state, zip, all coming from properties. Then they want to see only the properties in the city of Citrus Heights. So on the criteria row below city, we're going to key in Citrus Heights. We'll press enter, and then we're going to run it. And you should notice that under city, all we see is Citrus Heights. We're going to save this, and we will call it Citrus Heights Prop, or Props for Properties Query. And we'll close it. Got a couple more. We're going to design a query that displays rent payments between March 1st, 2018 and March 5th. So we'll go to Create, Query Design. We need the payment and the renter table. From the payment table, we need payment ID, payment date, payment amount. In the renter table, we need first and last name. We want to see records that made payments between March 1st and March 5th. So for the payment date, we're going to key in between 3/1/2018 and 3/5/2018. Going to press enter, and then it adds those little hashtags for us, so we don't have to worry about keying those in. And then we're going to run it. And how you can tell if this worked is you actually look at the date and make sure it's in the correct range. And we're going to save this as payments. I love how they abbreviate everything. PYMNTS 3/1/2/3/5 query. And then we'll close out of this one. And we're going to do yet another one. We want to see properties in Citrus Heights or Orangevale that rent for less than $1,501 a month. So we're going to go to Create and Query Design. And we need the Properties in Categories table, or tables. And we want category from the categories table. Then we want property ID, monthly rent, address, city. Let's see, state and zip. We want properties in Citrus Heights or Orangevale. So under city, we need Citrus Heights. And then on the line below, because this is an OR query, we need Orangevale. And in both cases, the monthly rent should be less than 1,501. Now remember, with criteria, you do not put dollars or commas. So on both of these lines, we need to put that same rent criteria, because that way it's going to look for Citrus Heights less than 1,501 or Orangevale less than 1,501. So we're going to run the query. And how can you tell if it worked? Look at the city and look at the amount. And as long as the city is Orangevale or Citrus Heights, the amount is less than 1,501, it worked properly. So we're going to save. And this is a very long query name. It's less than, or rent less than. Rent less than. And in the name, you can go ahead and put dollar signs and different symbols. You just can't do it in the criteria. So we got rent less than 1,501 in CH and OV. So you can see they are Orangevale, Citrus Heights. So we're going to go ahead and click OK and close this. We have one more query. So we'll go to Create and Query Design. For this last one, we want properties in Citrus Heights assigned to employee ID 0720. So we need employees and properties tables. So we got to check the employee number, and we're interested in the properties. So from the employee table, we want employee ID, first name and last name. From properties, we want address, city, state, and zip. So address, city, state, zip. And then what we want is properties that are in Citrus Heights who have the employee ID of 07-20. This is an AND query. So that means on the criteria row, they have to be on the same row. So we're going to do Citrus Heights. And then under employee ID, we're going to key in 07-20. So they are both on the same row, which means both conditions have to be true in order for the record to display. So we're going to hit run. And then what you should notice is these are all employee ID 07-20, and they're all the city of Citrus Heights. So we're going to save this query. We'll call it EMP 07-20 CH props query. And we'll go ahead and close.